one of the biggest complaints from First Nations has been that the treaty process takes so long that by the end of it, their resources are tapped out and there's not much left that are developable for our economic base and to manage our affairs properly. And so what the government of BC has done is created a new policy around interim treaty agreements. So you don't have to wait until you have the whole enchilada before you can actually enjoy it. And so we are going to be the first to engage in interim treaty agreement, and we're going to define what the process is. And we are looking at acquiring district lots 305, 306, which is the land between IR2, this main reserve, and the one south of us called Wolf. And we selected those lands for our residential expansion. We have very few lots left, and what we wanted to do was be able to start developing housing projects so that our lands can be used for the people that want to move home. And the challenge is Indian Affairs does not fund housing outside reservations. So district lots 305, 306 will be transferred to us in fee simple until a final agreement is done. The other component to it that we selected was the lands around Europa. Europa is a lake that is down in the Gardner Canal, and it has a lot of potential for independent power that is generated by hydroelectricity. And so we've been working on a 80 megawatt project for 4 years now. We've spent $3.5 million doing the feasibility studies, doing the engineering, and addressing environmental issues. And we are really close. And so what we've done is we said we not only need residential expansion right now, we need some economics. We need some revenue coming in that is not tied to Indian Affairs. And so we selected, as part of our land offer to the province, the lots 305, 306, and Europa. And we are now negotiating the transfer of those lands to us to support our residential expansion and our economic development. The neat thing about it is the Europa project. Europa is protected by a conservancy. That conservancy was created in the North Coast Land Resource Management Plan. And we put that interest on the table. And when we realized that we were kind of hindering our independent power project, we asked for an amendment. But rather than sitting there depending on the bureaucrats, we said, let's start to go the extra mile, and let's select that land now, and let's see if we can get it transferred on an interim basis so that we control the access. And so there are 1,200 acres surrounding Europa. Europa Conservancy is about 240 acres. Those lands will be transferred to the Haisla in an interim treaty agreement in fee simple so that we can use it to address our residential and our economic needs. The neat thing about that is it gives us a lot of latitude. And when the Conservancy was protected, what happened is we agreed that that protection would exist until a treaty is signed. Once a treaty is signed, if we select that land, we can do what we want with it. And when it comes to Europa, I think that is a pretty good thing.
These plans are immediate examples from a list of many key strategies developed over many years designed to improve conditions and opportunities for the Haisla people now and into the future. All good leaders know that to achieve their goals, they need the input, guidance, and support from all the nation members.
I really would appreciate if the Haisla nation, the Haisla people would come forward and and help us on the process to give us more information and what decision they would like to see on a treaty table.
Learn about treaty in any way you can. If the answers that you read or hear about are not good enough for you, question your leaders. I mean, you can go in and talk to the policy analyst, Joanne Ross, or the coordinator, Eva Martin, for administrative matters. But the political stuff that pertains to treaty and rights and title, for that matter, you've got to question your leaders. You've got to go to public meetings. You've got to read and understand information that's distributed. And I say this outside of treaty as well. You've got to read. You've got to hunger for information.
We elected by the people, and we need support from the people that elected us in it.
I mean, there's a lot of information that we can give our people here on treaty if they have specific questions. But if they want all the information on treaty, well, I've got to give them probably 20 or 30 binders that are just as thick as this, and very technical, very legal. It could be background information. It could be the actual chapters themselves. I mean, the chapters for treaty negotiations is about that thick, and that's only half the chapters that we have to negotiate. You know, all the information that goes along with it is like, you know, a cabinet full.